Second week of a marriage series, The Great Adventure. The Great Adventure. Today we're looking at husbands. We'll be in Ephesians mostly, First Peter a little bit, a couple other places a little bit. We talked last week about how in a marriage series or any series where you feel like you could possibly be singling out just a single group and not including everyone, that's always on my mind, especially when it comes to a subject like marriage. It's important, it's significant, but it's also a hard subject where hard things have happened for a lot of people. And so we talked about that last week, that while we're talking about marriage and what it is, how to improve it, how to be better at it in an earthly sense, that ultimately that marriage, the language of marriage, is the language that God uses to speak of His love for His church. So it applies to any and all believers. So when we're talking about husbands today, then the ideal of husband is Jesus. So one, it's not about being a perfect husband. Two, it's about that we all, male and female, as believers, have the perfect husband. So everything that we just talk about today and describe as far as characteristics of husbands go, what we're really describing is how perfect Jesus is, because He does all of these things perfectly. But it's the husband's job, the man's job, to exemplify this in a marriage in this world during this life. And so we're getting to that today. But last week we talked about how Jesus is our bridegroom forever, that was the last piece of it all. That is the language of Scripture, is the language of marriage. God's marriage to His people, and He will never, ever, ever choose divorce from His people, those who love Him and call Him Father and trust in Him in faith, in Jesus Christ in faith. And so I told you there was more to come on this, so we're doing this series for a few weeks, but we're doing a marriage tune-up workshop on December 5th and December 6th. So a little over a year ago, for those of you that don't know anything about this, we have a entity as Southern Baptists called the Arkansas Baptist Children and Family Ministries. I think it's the most impactful, best dollar for dollar ministry we spend and execute in our state. And it has multiple entities, but last fall, we on the board voted to start a new healthy family initiatives out of ABCFM, and that entity, that's part of that organization, is focused mainly on marriage, and it has a few different things that it's doing. It's doing marriage intensives, where you can go get a year's worth of marriage counseling in a weekend by going to the ranch in Harrison, if you're in a place where your marriage is truly in crisis. And the first couple we helped through that ministry was a pastor and his wife, and probably saved their marriage, which was beautiful. And there's a couple other things, but one of the things they're doing is a weekend marriage tune-up. So this is done by professionals that know what they're doing, know what they're talking about, and it's James Barnum who leads this initiative. His testimony alone is worth you coming to hear his testimony about his marriage and the struggles that he faced as a counselor, having a marriage that he didn't realize was falling apart, and has now on the other side of that redeemed, and his marriage is healthy and vibrant, and he can teach from a place of experience. So that's December 5th, December 6th. All the information is on fbcdan.com. To register, it's on fbcdan.com. It's 6 to 8 on Friday night, 9 to 11 on Saturday morning. I would implore you with everything that I have to sacrifice whatever you have to sacrifice, miss whatever you have to miss to be at this. And I know that's not completely applicable for everyone, but I promise you it will be worth your time to be there. So before we get into this, marriage is a heavy subject. Just wanted to have a little brevity this morning. This couple from this video I'm about to show you, they're on TikTok. They're hilarious. They're Indian Americans. I won't say it that way, Jess. Anyway, you'll understand what I mean in a second. So the husband on the videos, he always has a thing over his face, so that's why it's like that. He never shows his face, but it's just kind of a funny video. It's about 45 seconds long, just to get us going this morning.
What do you talk about with your guy friends?
Like, what is needed?
What?
I don't know. Is someone building something? Why am I even with them? Am I helping them move? Like, give me context.
Like, It's a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And like
I'm home.
Okay, you want to go play hockey and you like
Yeah.
go meet your guy friends.
I'm
What
like,
do you
"Hey,
guys talk about?
Get dressed. We have to play hockey now."
What else do you do?
You get off. Like, okay, go home. I'm going home.
Okay, what if
See you next Wednesday.
What if you had a fight with me and you
Yeah.
needed to talk to your guy friends?
Why would I tell them? What are they gonna do about it?
What if you need to work through it? Like, what did I do? What did she do? Can you help me figure this out?
You want me to ask my friend to understand you, and in all these years I don't understand you? That's not fair.
Pretty actionable, you know. What do you guys talk about? Get dressed. Let's go play hockey. Like, what do you mean? What do we talk about? Our feelings. We talk about our feelings. Just highlighting that there are, in case you didn't know, extreme differences between male and female and wives and husbands and all of the things. And we're going to get on into that, some of that today. And so we're starting in Ephesians chapter 22, reading a few verses out of there, or chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit to your own husbands as to the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. Verse 28, in the same way, husbands are to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. Now, I'll give you one caveat before we move forward. Wives, you can get in all the amens and all the elbows you want to get in this week. But no, next week we're coming back around for wives. So just keep that in mind. Get them in, but they may be coming back next week. And so we're looking at this verse. It's a common verse. You've probably heard this numerous times. You've probably heard it at weddings and all the things. But the part that we're focusing on to start as we move forward in this is that the husband is the head of the wife as Christ is the head of the church. Now, that doesn't mean that he's the dominating boss. What it means is he is responsible and will be held accountable as the leader of his marriage relationship and the leader of his family. That's what it means. He is held accountable by God the Father above as being the leader. In other words, what happens when you're the leader of something? When it's good and when it's bad, either way, it's on you as the leader. So the head of the wife as Christ is the head of the church. It doesn't mean, well, I'll get into all that in a minute, but it doesn't mean lesser value or any of those types of things. It means that is the position that is held that he is responsible for. He is the leader and held responsible as the leader of that relationship and what all that means. And we're going to get into what all that means. We'll go through this word as an acronym today, and we have something for each one of these letters. So what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to lead? How are we supposed to lead? That takes us to 1 Peter 3:7. In the same way, you husbands must give honor to your wives. Treat your wife with understanding as you live together. She may be weaker than you are, but she is your equal partner in God's gift of new life. Treat her as you should, so your prayers will not be hindered. To love your wife like Christ loves the church, you have to seek to treat your wife with understanding, because you are responsible for her protection in this way, and because you are of equal value as far as the gospel is concerned. Again, it's not the guy is more important than the woman. It means the guy, the man, the husband has a different responsibility than the woman. And so this is the NLT, and I love the way it says this. Treat your wife with understanding. You are to understand your wife. Now, don't actually raise your hand, but in your head, guys, if you understand your wife, raise your hand. It's like he just said, right? Like, why would I ask my friends to understand you? I don't understand you. Half the time, you don't understand yourself. That's just the truth of it. It's difficult, right? Understand. We have to understand our wives. We have to seek to have knowledge that understands our wives as husbands. That's a high calling. We'll get to that as we go through. So we're going to go through, with those two things in mind, we're going to go through this word leader, each letter in leader, and explain kind of what is a godly husband. This isn't the end-all, be-all, but this is a pretty good framework for what it is to be a godly husband. The first thing that you have to do if you're going to lead is you have to love. We know that. Like, that's basic, right? I mean, it's the first thing. If you're going to be a Christ follower, you got to love. You got to lead with love. You got to have love, all the things. Ephesians 5:28. In the same way, husbands are to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. What is love? We talk about this all the time. It's easy to know, it's hard to live. It's easy to know, it's hard to understand what it means to love. What is love? How did Jesus love? Jesus loved, I think, 3 primary ways. He loved with truth, he loved with grace, and he loved with sacrifice. He loved with truth, he loved with grace, and he loved with sacrifice. He told the truth always. He always told the truth. Always. Oftentimes for men, for you men, for me men, for all men, we're scared to tell the truth because give me an amen if you've said this before, she don't want to hear it. Okay? We're scared to tell the truth because we assume the truth is something that our wives can't handle, something that our wives won't respond well to, something that our wives don't want to hear. We assume that that's what's taking place. What that means is what's behind that, what's under that, and we're going to try to uncover some things that are deep down today, some deep down things that men, you would never say out loud, but I'm going to say them out loud for you today. What it means is whatever emotional reaction she is going to have to this hard truth, I'm too tired, I'm too lazy, I'm too weak, I'm too scared to deal with that. That's what it means when we say she don't want to hear it. What it really means is we don't want to deal with whatever reaction she may have to what we're saying. Leaders, though, tell the truth, but it's always with grace when Jesus speaks it. He doesn't speak truth to condemn, and he doesn't speak truth to hurt. If you're speaking truth and it condemns, or you're speaking truth and it hurts in a way that's not for restoring, that's not truth. That's oftentimes being a jerk or being a bully. Truth to condemn hurts. Truth with grace sanctifies. Truth to condemn is really judgment dressed up with honesty. We're not talking about truth as judgment. We're talking about truth with grace. Its purpose, when you have truth to condemn, its purpose is to expose shame. That should never be what we're doing when we share truth in any relationship. We're not exposing shame. We're leading towards restoration. It sounds like this when you do it this way. You're always emotional about everything. I can't say anything without you taking it the wrong way. That may be true. That's not truth with grace. That's truth to condemn. That's truth because you're mad. That's truth because you're tired. That's truth because you're hurt. That's truth because you're scared. And you've waited too long probably to say something about this, so now you're saying it from a defensive position. You're swinging with your words. I can't say anything to you. Oh, you take everything the wrong way. Nothing I ever do is good enough. You said that before? I've said that. Truth with grace communicates love. It communicates vulnerability. It communicates a desire for unity. Its purpose is to heal, and its purpose is to restore. It sounds like, babe, I can tell this is hard. I can tell what I just did hit you hard. That wasn't my intention. I want to understand where you're coming from, even if we don't agree yet. It's the same truth shared from a completely different heart set that gets a completely different reaction that leads to a completely different destination. Truth with grace. Leaders love, and part of love is being truthful with grace. If there's something that needs to be said, just say the thing, but say it with grace. And then love sacrifices, right? Ephesians 5:25, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. How did Jesus love us? How did he love his church? How far did he go? How far did he go? All the way. You can't go any further than he went, right? He literally, physically gave up his human life for his church. Sacrifice and complaining is not sacrifice. Now, this is not going to feel good, guys. I'm just telling you. Sacrifice and wanting credit for it is not sacrifice. That's our pride and that's our ego, right? Fine, we can watch the baking show again. I didn't really want to watch the game anyway. It's just the playoffs, right? That's not sacrifice. That's complaining. That's whining, okay? Sacrifice that love says, you know what? Let's watch your show tonight. I can catch the highlights later. I like being right next to you. Got to mean that. but it's a sacrifice. Now, that's a first world modern day sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice, right? Here's the differences, right? Sacrifice that complains, the motivation is self-pity and pride and scoreboard keeping. Sacrifice that complains, the effect is distance, resentment, and guilt. But sacrifice that loves, its motivation is gratitude and humility and affection. And the result of that is trust and safety and intimacy. Romans 5:8 tells us this about Jesus. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Jesus shows that true sacrifice is, it does it before the person deserves it. It does it even if the person never recognizes it, never acknowledges it. That's what real sacrifice is. So when you do the things, don't stand there and go, I did the thing. Don't act like you had never done that, men. I know I took the trash out. I washed the dishes. Maybe I'm just telling you my own personal life. I don't know. That's how I do it. Maybe you don't do that. We love gratitude. We love appreciation. We love that. But sacrifice does those things whether you get those things or not, because that's what love is. I'm going to skip E and come back to it and go to A. The second thing is awareness. Awareness. Awareness to notice, to listen, to discern what your wife and what your family truly need. Guys, we are mostly, some of you are supermen, mostly we are very terrible at this one. And I'll explain it here in just a minute. I'm going to bring this together in a way that you probably haven't ever learned. If you have, you're better than me. I've only known it for a few weeks. Going to First Peter 3:7, where we started. In the same way, you husbands must give honor to your wives. Treat your wife with understanding as you live together. She may be weaker than you are, but she is your equal partner in God's gift of new life. Notice that last sentence. This is not for today, but treat her as you should so your prayers will not be hindered. When you're not living correctly as a husband, it hinders your prayer life. Because if this ain't right, then this ain't right. That's what Scripture says. And if this ain't right, then this ain't right. It goes both ways. Our human relationships affect our God relationship, and our God relationship affects our human relationship. So if you're not doing this, your prayer life is going to be hindered. So if they didn't already have enough motivation, there's some more, right? So what does this mean? Understanding, weaker, equal partner, what are we talking about, okay? Women are highly aware. Highly aware. To survive for thousands of years as the half of the species that was more vulnerable to threat, they have to be keenly aware of predators, of threats. A woman's threat awareness is much higher than a man's threat awareness. They have a sense of threat detection that far surpasses the average men. They've had to survive, because on average, the physical female is more vulnerable to the threats of the world than a male is. So it doesn't mean weaker as in worse, it means a fact. That's just a fact. You think about the way the world has been for thousands of years, it has been harder for a woman to survive on her own than a man. So for a woman, it's the noticing. Stay with me, guys. Stay with me. It's the noticing, it's the being aware that makes the difference. To a woman, now, I think you women can say I'm wrong if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong anytime today, you say, you're wrong, that's not right. And I'll just walk off and go cry. But to a woman, awareness by her man feels like love. Because an aware man feels like safety and security and protection. Those things we actually want to be to her. We actually want to be that to our wives. An aware man feels like safety, security, and protection. Awareness is noticing the things that need to be done. Noticing the things that need to be done. Now, combine that with eagerness. Go back to the E. Awareness is realizing and knowing what things need to be done, and eagerness is the wanting and the desire to do these things. Now, is this the part where I tell you need to do the dishes? Yes, it is. Yes, it is, that part. Eagerness is the wanting and desire to do the things. Combined, you combine these things, it's leading from a place of love by seeing, wanting, and doing the things that need to be done for your wife, for your relationship, for your family, for your home. Romans 12:11 says, do not lack diligence, be fervent in spirit, serve the Lord. This is in a section that's talking about love, what love actually is, because all of this is really just love. Do not lack diligence, be fervent in spirit, serve the Lord. As a leader and someone who is called to love their wife, we are called to be eager to lead and love. Now, I don't know about you, but in my natural self, most of the time when I come home, I ain't eager to do anything. I mean, the male sensibility is to come home and do nothing. Now, I'm fixing to explain why that is, so careful with your condemnation. But that's the way it feels. So, awareness and eagerness. Staying together with me, okay? Fervent in spirit and always having diligence, okay? We're called to be eager to lead and love. How does this look like when done the wrong way? Okay, you ever played the trash game? Pushing the trash down in the trash can, hoping somebody else will take it out. You know what I'm talking about, the trash game, where you walk by and it's like a little fool and you push it down a little further so you don't have to be the one to take it out. Have you ever done that? Over and over and over. Now, some of you don't, that's not your thing, okay? Maybe it's something else. What's the right way? Take out the trash without being asked, without announcing it, Daniel, and saying, honey, while I'm up, is there anything I can do for you? Anything you need? That's eagerness and awareness on a very small level, okay? When done wrong, the motivation is comfort and apathy. I'll get to it eventually. It leads to frustration. It leads to distance. It leads to loss of trust when we're not doing these two things. When done right, eager diligence, it's from a motivation of love and stewardship, joyful pursuit. It leads to energy, closeness, and mutual respect, which is that thing that you actually want, guy, man. You actually want respect. I'm telling you today how to get it. It's the cheat code. It is the cheat code. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road on this. At the men's retreat a month or so ago, I gave this example about washing dishes. Now, it doesn't have to be washing dishes. It's different for every home. Some I had a guy come up to me and say, hey, you were right about that, except for one thing. My wife would actually get mad if I washed the dishes. So for me, I was like, that's exactly right. It just depends, right? It's home to home. It just depends. This is where understanding comes in. So it may not be dishes for you, but it could be, okay? What is the thing that your wife really always wants done? What is that thing? Is it dishes, laundry, clean floors, bathrooms? Like, what is that thing? There is something. Trust me, there is something. Find out what that thing is. It may not even be in the home. It may be kind words or something like that. Find out what that is, right? Because we have to understand our wives. Why does this matter to her? Ask her. Find out why it matters to her. There may be some deep-seated hurt or fear or shame attached to it. Wouldn't it be good if you were the one that helped her heal from that, wherever that comes from? Like maybe she got screamed at if there were dirty dishes in her sink her entire life. And when she sees dirty dishes and you won't help out, all she hears is that, right? Now we're getting real, right? Now we're all on the same page. But here's where it gets weird, okay? I want all guys to answer me out loud on this one. Answer me out loud, okay? Use dishes as an example. If we were doing the dishes, if you were doing your dishes at your house, and you didn't ask your wife to help you with those dishes, why did you not ask her? Somebody say it. Didn't need help. What else? Didn't want help, right? Okay. You didn't need help. You didn't want help for whatever reason. Maybe you like doing it your way. Maybe you wanted to give her rest, whatever. But if you were doing the dishes and you didn't ask for help, it's because, as a man, you didn't want help. Now stay with me. If you did want help from her, what would you do? Ask for help. Everybody with me? Are we tracking? Am I speaking Greek? Some of y'all looking at me like I got a horn growing out of my forehead. Okay? If you don't ask for help as a man, it's because you don't want help. And if you need help and want help, then you ask for help. It really is that simple. Like we're very simple, almost Neanderthalish in the way that we are. Okay? Now, stay with me, guys. This is not the way the human female brain and heart works. It is not how their brain and their heart works at all. Now, the fundamental question is, what is this in a guy? Why aren't we eager to do something out of our routine? Why are we eager to do something out of the normal without being asked? Here it is, okay? This is the part that a guy would never say out loud, but I'll say for us today. It's because at a fundamental level, deep in our spirits, way past our conscious brain, way past words, way down in there, as a man, we are terrified, scared to death to not be enough. That's really what it is. Now, I know that sounds namby-pamby and wussy, and that's fine. We are scared to death that we don't measure up. We're scared to death that we're not going to be enough. We're scared to death that we're not strong enough, not smart enough, not capable enough, not good looking enough. That if we aren't really careful when it comes down to our basic desire as a man to provide and to protect, we just won't be enough. We're inadequate. We're too dumb. We're too slow. We're too weak. We can't do it. Deep down, that's our fear. So the idea of putting ourselves out there just for the sake of whatever said thing is, it's just foreign to a man naturally inside of him. Why would we willingly risk ourselves to be put at risk of not being enough? We already worry about that all the time, everywhere we go anyway. It's always there. Now, we made it home, again, from a world trying to kill us all day long, every day. That's what it feels like to be a man outside of your home. That everything out there is trying to destroy you, either emotionally, spiritually, physically, and all the other things. That's truly what it feels like. So when we get home, we are home. We take off our sword. We set down our sword. We take off our armor because finally no one is trying to kill us, either literally or with shame. It feels the same way as a man. Being a man out in the world is exhausting. I know, boo-hoo-hoo. I understand if you're a female. I get that. Your life is way harder than ours is. I get that. I'm just telling you truly from a vulnerable standpoint what it feels like to be inside of this. Scared to death all the time. So we don't want to risk at home. We want to be at peace. We want to turn it off. We want to check out. But to a woman, this feels like disconnection. This feels like selfishness. This feels like the opposite of love to her. The man is literally saying by doing this, I love you. I feel safe. It's so peaceful. I'm so thankful that I can stop being diligently at war now that I'm at home. But the woman feels like you don't care. Right? To a woman, awareness and eagerness feel like love. That's why, I'm not being chauvinistic when I say this. Trust me, this is coming from a place of love. I'm trying to explain something, and I hope it's landing, and I'm praying that it lands. That's why the wife is always trying to help you. Stay with me. I'm not trying to be funny. That's why they notice every single little thing about you all the time and shares those things with you and tells you how to do it better, how to look better, how to smell better, how to talk better, how to think better, how to smile better, how to sit better, how to watch TV at the right volume better, how to do all the things better. Because to a woman, that feels like loving you. But to you, man, it's just a constant reminder that you aren't enough, that you're inadequate. And inadequate men get taken out in this world. They get left. They get embarrassed by a world that wants to destroy them. That's what it feels like to be a man. Can you see, just maybe, how this makes marriage a great adventure? Just those things right there alone. That we're on complete opposite sides of what it feels like to give and receive love. And both are trying to do it but neither realizes the other one is doing it until you get to a place where you finally understand that. You get to a place of understanding what it means. But that's the point, isn't it? Of man and woman coming together as one. Isn't that the point, that we are so different? Isn't that the point of the great adventure? Isn't that how God uses marriage to mold you and shape you and sanctify you into who he wants you to be, coming together as one to fully express the image of God as one flesh? Isn't that the point? Don't resent that. Lean into it. Learn, grow, enjoy it. D, decisions. Ephesians 5:23. You don't have to do everything, but you do have to initiate. Decisions initiate. Ephesians 5:23. For the husband is the head of the wife as Christ is the head of the church. We are to initiate redemptive actions in our home. We are to lead with decisions. Here's how you do it. You pray before deciding on your own and with your spouse. You move with clarity, not emotion. Men have emotions. We should pay attention to our emotions, but we can't and shouldn't lead by our emotions. We lead with clarity. We make decisions with clarity. And then you act for the best of what's good for others. Making decisions is good for those you lead, and we should make decisions that are good for those who we lead. Do you understand that? Making decisions is good for who you lead, and you should make decisions that are good for who you lead, that what is good for others. So passivity is not what men are called to. We think we're being loving when we do that. We're not. When we pass off the responsibility to lead, we're not being loving. We're not doing what we've been called to do. You're probably doing it for a completely understandable and legitimate reason, but it's not what we're called to do. We're called to make decisions. We are called to be the head. We will be held responsible for being the head. I could spend a lot more time there, but I won't. Evangelism, the E in leader. Ephesians 5:26 and 27 that we skipped earlier. To make her holy, cleansing her with the washing of water by the word. He did this to present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or anything like that, but holy and blameless. We are to be the lead evangelists. We are to lead our wife to Christ. We are to lead our home to Christ. We are to be the leader in redemptive actions and words in our home. Follow me as I follow Christ, Paul says, 1 Corinthians 11. Our primary role as spiritual leader in the home is to make decisions that lead our families to Jesus, that lead our families to holiness, that lead our families to mission when it comes to those things. Mission, having a purpose, a mission, an aim, right? Our family exists to, what is that thing? That's your homework for today and tonight, this week. Get an end to that sentence. Our family exists for Jesus. What is that? We need that. I'm figuring that out. So don't think that I've got a vision board at home, a mission board at home, where I've got this on the kitchen counter. I'm not. That's not me. I'm working on this just like you are. What is that though? Our family exists to blank for Jesus. That's a mission, and we all need one. Be the lead evangelist in your home. Don't expect your wife to do your job. You should be the lead prayer. You should be the person that talks about Jesus the most in your home. You should be the person that asks and speaks with your kids about what is taking place here and in their lives. You should be the person that they see in the Word. You should be that person. The husband. Don't give up, abdicate your responsibility. Wives are already doing it most of the time. But it's our responsibility. Don't expect the church to do your job. Do your job. Share Jesus with your family, which brings us to the last one. Repenter. 1 John 1, 9 through 10. Some of you can say that one without even having it on the screen. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and righteous to forgive us, to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. If we say we don't have any sin, we make him a liar, and his word is not in us. Being the leader does not mean never making mistakes. It's not what it means. You're not going to get this right all the time. You're going to mess it up often. It doesn't mean being perfect. It means being the first to admit that you're not. It means to confess, to be a regular confessor of the fact that you aren't doing it right all the time. Be a repenter. Now, remember what I just said about sharing and being vulnerable and all those things, that it's counterintuitive to what your sin nature tells you to do. Your sin nature says preserve and protect and hide and conceal all things that could be exposed as weakness to this world. But Christ calls us to be weak so that his strength can come in through us and be shown to the world. You can't be strong for Jesus if you're not weak before him first in confession. It's not weak to be a repenter to your wife. It's not weak to ask for forgiveness. It's not weak to confess sin. It's what we are called to do. Be the leader in humility, not pride. In pride and ego, we pretend we are perfect. But in humility and honesty, we confess. We confess that we hope and trust in the one who actually is perfect. The point of our leadership is to point our wives and families to Jesus, not to point them towards us, not to make us the trophy. That's not what it is. When you decide that it's no longer about being the hero, but making Jesus the hero, things will change in your home. Things will change in your marriage. Things will change. It's not about you being the hero. That's not what leader means. It means that you are leading them to the one who is the real hero. And it's a divine calling. It's a difficult calling, but it's one that you can do or he wouldn't have called us to it. That's why he called us to it, because he can do it through us. When we lay down our wants and our prides and our fears before him and let him work in and through us, then we can do those things. So we're called to be the leader. Love. Be eager. Be aware. Make decisions. Evangelize your home and be the first one to forgive when you've been wronged and to ask for forgiveness when you have wronged. Be the lead repenter in your home. And then sum all that up with this. Whether you're married or you aren't, you may be one day, you're not ever going to be, or whatever else. Remember this. Like I said at the beginning, Jesus is the perfect husband that we're all called to submit to. He is the perfect husband that we're called to submit to. Why should your wife submit to you, husband? Because you submit to Christ. Why does all this language exist in the scriptures at all? To show us that Jesus is worth submitting to. Perfect protection, perfect provision, all grace, all truth, all the time. If you don't know him as Lord and Savior, you should. He's worth giving everything for. He's worth submitting everything to. He's worth giving everything you have to him. He's worth trusting in. He's worth hoping in. He's worth giving your finances to, your time to, your talents to, your family to. He's worth saying no to the world and saying yes to him. He's worth it all. He wants to be your Savior. He's the perfect King. He's the best husband that ever existed. And he's calling all those who have faith in him to the best marriage supper celebration there ever was or ever will be one day. I can't wait for that day. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go home and read Revelation 19. The marriage supper of the Lamb. It's going to be a great day one day. I can't wait to celebrate that wedding. It's going to be a good day. He's worth it. Submit to him. It'll change your life now. It'll change your eternity forever. It's worth everything that it could ever cost you. He'll give it back more and more and more than you could ever, tenfold back to you what you give to him when you give it to him in faith. Trust him. If you don't know him, then let's talk about it. If you do know him, then let's live like it. If you need to pray during this song, come pray. If you have decisions you would like to share with the church, joining the church, getting baptized, getting saved, those types of things, I'll meet you down here in front. We can talk about that. But otherwise, just do what the Spirit leads you. If it's sing, sing. If it's pray, pray. If it's come share something with us, great, let's do that too. But whatever the Spirit leads you to do, let's do that together today.